What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and I'm here to wrap up and finish my thoughts on Frank Zappa's 1973 fall tour, The Guitar Solos Only. I've already actually discussed the tour in depth elsewhere on this channel and ranked it, but this time I'm only discussing the solos and ranking the tour. At this point, only compared to the 88 tour, because that's the only other one I've done, but ranking them, and then I'll eventually do all the tours. But elsewhere, a couple of the previous videos, I did all of the guitar solos that have been released from the Fall 73 tour. And we only have two batches of solos. We have solos from the Halloween shows of 1973. There was the Halloween 73 box set. And those shows were like the end of the first week of the Fall 73 tour. So there were rehearsals, some of which are on that box set. Plus, I think the tour might have opened in Austin, Texas. It's a really good soundboard, I think it's a soundboard show from October 26, 73 at the Armadillo World headquarters in Austin. Not the greatest show, pretty good show. Sound is excellent. So we have that, and I think that might be the first show of the tour. And so the Halloween shows are, 5 days later. So we get guitar solos from early in the tour. Then we have nothing released officially until we get to the Roxy shows, like the second week of December. And there were two shows after the Roxy shows, and then the tour ended. We haven't had anything released between that, so I'm not sure there is maybe anything available in the vault. We might not get anything released from, essentially the November run or even that that October 26 show. Who knows? So that's interesting that we just have snapshots of early in the tour and late in the tour. I have several tapes from throughout this tour. And again, I will say this about Frank Zappa's guitar playing throughout the tour. It's just not that interesting. I don't like the sound he uses, his primary sound. Keneally, somewhere in some interview or article I once read with Mike Keneally, he called it Frank's underwater shimmering sound. I think that was the phrase he used. And that is what it sounds like. It sounds like he's underwater and there's shimmer to it. I don't know. I don't think it's a very interesting sound when used as often as Frank uses it. Frank is not going heavy in the distortion. There's not a lot of really, really heavy guitar playing on this tour. He's not really getting out there and ugly as he would before this, and he definitely would after this. It's just, I don't know. It's just Frank kind of playing it safe for the most part. Limited number of songs in which he solos in. I think for me, the one song that if you're going to find it on a set list that might provide something interesting is the Dupree's Paradise, because generally he was using that as sort of a blank slate in which to experiment and do things. Sometimes he didn't go anywhere in those experimentations, and it was just kind of treading water. But he was treading water in a new pond, so that was kind of interesting because it just seemed like he was a little more exploring ideas. Where the majority of the solos, he seems locked in by the sort of two drummers and that are just kind of like keeping him very much in this pocket that he's more than happy to just stay inside of and ride. Like I use the snowboarding analogy a lot for this tour. So it just seems like he's going back and forth within the same sort of like confined space and not really pushing any boundaries or very seldom even getting the air and, going up off the edge of the run. So yeah, just not a very good tour as far as solos go. Having ranked all of the ones we have available, which is 45 of them, right there is the first batch, 45 through 11. Yeah, I mean, you just have a lot of the same songs over and over and over, and sometimes Frank is like elevating to a new height. Maybe he's feeling a little bit feisty and a little bit like exploratory and he's pushing the boundaries. But for the most part, they're all kind of the same thing. A lot of Penguin and Bondages, Piggy Twilights, Dickie's Such an Assholes, Redunzels, Cosmic Debris. You don't have a lot of variety in the solos. I'm the Slimes, which are usually pretty good. Montana and I'm the Slimes, that groove just being so good that sometimes the solo doesn't even matter. Just because the energy of the band is so good. But none of these are fantastic like this first batch, 45 through 11. They're just solos. Probably not even the highlight of any particular show. Usually like a George Duke or maybe a Bruce Fowler is stealing the solo spotlight on a lot of these. Then we get to the top 10, And these are the top 10. And I would say these are probably by far the most interesting solos on here. Some of these have been released on the stage series. So other than the Halloween 73, the Roxy performances, and the variety of Roxy compilations that have been released. Some of these have been on the stage series, and there's some good ones, like the Big Swifty that is in the top 10 was on the stage series, so good choice by Frank there. The I'm the Slime that was number 14 was on the stage series, so good choice there. But really, out of these, I think all the Duprees that we have released made the top 10. I think the Halloween Duprees is my favorite out of the 73 releases, with that Big Swifty, the same one that was released on You Can't Do That on Stage Volume 1, coming in a close second. I think those are easily the top 2. You get the Chunga's Revenge, which is interesting and has its moments, but isn't absolutely fantastic. Same with everything that's on here. Don't You Ever Watch That Thing has some really good energy to it. It's kind of a spontaneous jam. Again, the solo might not be really pushing the boundaries, but the way it sort of erupts at the end of a Don't You Ever Wash gives it this very spontaneous, freewheeling, kind of lively jam energy to it. I'm the Slime. The I'm the Slime is actually in the top 10. That is the one that is on stage 1, not the one that's number 14. My bad. And then, yeah, the Montana. I think that is the same Montana that is on stage 4, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, if not, that Montana is 16. I did those videos elsewhere. I don't have all the notes in front of me. My bad. But anyways, yeah, none of these solos are that great. I mean, they're interesting. Maybe the Duprees and the Big Swifty are truly up there. But yeah, it's just not a very interesting tour as far as guitar solos go. Where would I rank it among the other guitar solo tours I've done guitar solo-wise? I've only done the 1988 tour, but 1988 tour is more interesting. Way more variety in Frank's tones, way more variety as far as the songs he's soloing in, which just opens more interesting doors. Plus, there are a number of solos from the 88 tour which are just bona fide classics, outright classics, which I've discussed about in other videos. But yeah, there were some absolute gems, and I don't think anything we have so far from 73. I'm going to even possibly say that anything I've heard from 73, maybe there's a Dupree's Paradise or a Big Swifty solo that is on one of those tapes that I'm forgetting about, but I don't even think there's anything from this tour that matches some of the heights that Frank would reach on 88. There probably is. There's probably something out there that is not released or that I don't have a tape of, but it was a pretty safe tour. But yeah, that's it. Those are my thoughts on the Fall 73 tour. I think it's an overrated tour. Band is fantastic. Some of the songs are fantastic. Some fun releases, but I think as far as the overall quality of the tour, it wasn't one of my favorite, though I do discuss it somewhere else on this channel. I don't know, a couple years ago. Yeah, it was a number. It was a number. I'm sure I'm not going to look for it. Anyways, yeah, that's it. I'm done. Done with 73. I am going to actually tackle a couple 73 albums, studio albums from one studio album, because there are fantastic guitar solos on that from almost the same band, but not exactly the same band, but from the same era that are fantastic. But that's coming soon. But anyways, that's it. I'm rambling now. It's early in the morning. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this tour, on these solos, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, and go listen to music. Go listen to the Halloween 73 Dupree's Paradise, and then listen to the Big Swifty that's on You Can't Do That on Stage Volume 1. I'm the Slime into the Big Swifty. Listen to both of those. Those are fantastic. But that's it. I'm done. Peace. Talk to you later.